Who fancies it, boys? Christy Caulfield fancies it. I had a feeling he might be the one to stick his hand up. Sadly, Christy, we're not taking volunteers, but it is now time to find out our first player in our final match of the night. It's a tough spot to be in. Computer, let's find out our very first player. Who is it going to be? Callum Singleton! He's already gone 3 and out tonight, and in he comes again. Oh, go 3 and 0 and you're in the final match tonight. To play Callum, it is going to be Phil Parkin! And Ronan McCarthy is absolutely ecstatic. That is the happiest I've ever seen him, and I've seen him lift a world title.
He has given us the moment of the day. Calling out Declan Brennan was fabulous after changing his mind, going from the random draw, and we nearly start with a golden break as well. Actually, there was a sign of when he played earlier on. He got the 8 ball in motion a lot because he's cut breaking. Didn't make a golden break, but he left a lot of awkward layouts, and I feel like he's done the same again here. This is an awkward layout. But he's got Phil Parkin for company, and Phil's very much a mercurial player. A really good run, made his first final only, 3-4 weeks ago, if that, in this venue. Come up just short against John McAllister. But a player that should be buzzing with confidence, and a player that I think this is a really good event for him. I think he's one of the quickest players on the tour. He's an inspirational player, and I don't think it will faze him being out last match of the night either.
No, I mean, he's, as you say, tournament made for him. He looked pretty disappointed, as you'd expect, when he was called out, because it's just a pain to be called out for the last match of the night. He'd rather have come back tomorrow morning and started over, because he's still going to have to come back tomorrow morning even if he wins. So this is just a banana skin he doesn't want. But you've got to start your campaign somewhere, so he'll understand that.
Yeah, I mean, all players will be disappointed because it's that time of the night you don't want to play, but equally, you've got to win 3 more. 3 matches here to get yourself in, whereas if you avoid tonight, maybe you might miss the pick tomorrow morning because maybe you feel there's other options out there, and all of a sudden you might be, an extra 3-4 matches in, and then you're going to have to go out there and win 3 straight if you want to win the tournament at some point. But, it could have been kinder for both these players. Both players have been to professional finals. Obviously, Phil only a few weeks ago, and Callum early in his pro career as well. A year or so ago now. 2 players you'd say absolutely capable of winning this title.
So there's a real sort of first round feel. It's one of those situations where you can't win the tournament, but you can lose it. All they can do is book a place in tomorrow's part of the draw. They've just got to get through this match. All the other players, of course, very relieved. Everybody that's not at the table now is done for the night. They know they're coming back tomorrow morning. Action will be resuming at 11 in the morning, playing through over the course of tomorrow to our winner. 16 more matches to come.
Yeah, guaranteed 16 more matches. No more extra lives. They've gone. Jack Whelan, the lucky man to receive one earlier on, having lost. He remains in the tournament. I don't know if this has been the case for Callum Singleton or not, but certainly on today's evidence, the cut break isn't giving him wide open chances, and whether that is what he wants, whether it's been like this for a little while or not, whether it's just the way the balls are coming out today, but I wonder if it's something for him to look at going forward, or whether he's happy with it. But he must play, when the balls come out like this, you play a lot of frames like this that would need a bit of working out.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, he's known as a good tactical player, but still, at this level, you need to take a fair number off your own break. There's obviously the advantage of the cut break. You're more likely to get a golden break, which in today's format is pretty valuable. No one's really been having much luck, though, apart from Scott Yardley. Only the 2 that we've seen so far. This frame has somewhat got away from Phil, though. The Reds have been just getting better and better for the last few shots, and now Callum's in a nice position.
This is tricky. You'll fancy it, but it's still just a little tricky. Yeah, played to perfection. Excellent. Now should be able to go on and win this opening frame.
Seems to be going about this with the right attitude. You could obviously have complained about being drawn out again, but took it in the spirit that he had to, really. It is what it is. He's just got to start winning again. And of course the fact that he has won 3 matches out there today, he knows how to do it.
Big visit hit for Phil. Can't really let Callum get a couple of clear, and he's got to get into this. Well, if he's played for the gap, that's excellent. I really like Phil's game. He's got so much confidence and backs his own ability. He sees things probably in an unconventional way compared to some of the top players, but he really believes in what he's doing out there, and he's so good at doing it.
He's had a really good last few months. He's really rocketed up the provisional rankings. He was one of those players when he first got pro status, you fancied him to have a good run, but I don't know if you necessarily fancied him to be a sort of consistent top 16 player, and that's very much the direction he's trending towards now. His issue used to be that he'd play a few good shots, or maybe even a few good frames, and then would just throw a careless one in. It feels like he's starting to eliminate that. It's not completely gone, there is still some element, but he's just playing so much good stuff.
Yeah, just would love an extra turn of angle on that previous shot, just so he could get right behind this 8-ball. Now, it's one of those that on this table, top players would expect to make it, but it's not guaranteed. That was really nice. I don't care what table you're playing on, that is going right in the heart of the pocket. Beautiful stuff from Phil Parkin.
Well, there is something quite nice, I suppose, in a way, when you're coming back in the morning knowing you're going to be playing, because for some of the others, there's a bit of an uncertainty. You could sit around for a while. At least you know what you've got to do. You can come back, win 2 matches, and then you're deep into the tournament. Persevering with the cut break.
Yeah, and this is a much better leave if the red goes right centre. I suppose he could clip the red back top right, but the red right centre would be a lovely opener. Well, he is going to be top right. It's not too bad. Just got to control the cue ball. Got to control the cue ball.
Bit unlucky to end up in the middle. The cue ball was always running loose, but took a bit of an unfortunate nudge from his perspective.
And of course, it means reds are still wide open here for Phil. Put himself quite close to this red. I suppose he felt the closer he got, the more angle he's kind of given himself.
Yeah, he's obviously left-handed, so it's the right side of the table for him, but you've got to be careful with those shots.
Wow.
Well, what have we seen there? That's not a shot you'd expect him to miss.
Yeah, very surprising miss.
He was just trying to pinch a bit of pocket to hold the ball, but there's still quite a bit of margin for error to screw off the left side cushion. Didn't need to take undue liberty there. And the one saving grace for Phil is that the reds were so obviously the best colour that even though Callum comes to the table, not in a perfect spot, but you'd rather be at the man at the table, of course.
Would love that yellow to stay up. It doesn't. That makes it harder for him.
Yeah, if it just hangs over the pocket, because then he can plant the ball that's just above the cue ball now, and it just makes the position so much easier. Because although he can still pot the ball at the rail, he's still got the issue of getting to the balls at the top of the table.
How comfortable would he be with the plant on the top? It just does look awkward, doesn't it? Just enough.
It's one of those plants you sort of almost guarantee to get the second ball into the jaws of the pocket, but it's very hard to imagine not rattling it. You'd have to hit it really perfectly. So, is he going to play that, or is he going to play the one over the left-hand corner and swing the white over to where he's pointing with his cue?
Plant it is. The problem with the plant this time is you've got to be on the ball you're playing. So there's more going on than just making the plant.
Yeah, you've got to commit to one of two options. He's either got to screw back or he's got to go across the face of the second one and play it into the opposite corner. Neither of those options is ideal. Well, he's got caught between all of those options. He's made the plant though, which is the difficult bit. It's thin, but the ball does still pot. It's just a case of controlling the white. Oh, he's played that well. It's never going to be easy to hold the white, and he's not perfect, but at least he's got a shot.
Very good. Very, very good from Callum.
Obviously the pressure really ramps up as we get towards the end.
Cue ball gets stopped in its tracks.
And this is the frame really. The third frame, somebody was going to go 2-1 up. That wasn't going to be decisive, but this is a chance to either go 2-all or 3-1, which is a big difference in this format.
Yeah, and I think reds would be nice. He doesn't have an opener, so yellows are going to be the way here, but it's the opening shot's tricky. The yellows are actually fine. Yellow at the bottom goes. All the ones at the top, they all have their own pockets. 8 ball's not a problem as well. Just the opening shot, just needs to be careful with it. And he is. Very good, clean pot. Very nice.
That's where he's at his best. Those kind of long shots. He's a very clean potter. Sometimes his mistakes can be more positional, where just lets go of the cue ball. Great chance this to level up. Still no 6 red shootouts in the 15 completed matches we've had today. This has the potential for it in that the time is running down and still not a great deal to choose between the players. First rounds of tournaments are always about getting through to the latter stages. This is a bit different in that it doesn't have a draw in the same way. But for all of these players, the goal was to get to day 2. Some of them have done it a pretty easy way by just enjoying some good quality pool and sitting around watching it. Some like Callum Singleton, if he does get through to tomorrow, could have done it the hard way. No one's played more than 3 matches apart from him. This is match 4. And if he wants to stay in the tournament, he's going to have to win 6 matches.
Yeah, something that Tom did last year, wasn't it? He had 2 runs of 3, didn't he? And then the run of 2 at the end. 8 matches in total. Yeah, last year Craig Waddingham played 4 matches, 3 early on Saturday and then didn't play again till the final on Sunday. Many different ways to win this tournament.
Pretty good layout this time. He's had a few messy layouts off that cut break.
Yellows are better than reds for me. Is he welded to that red? Can he pop the yellow to right centre? If he can, it's ideal. Just do all the 3 at the bottom, make sure you get to the middle of the table, and you're in great shape.
This should be 3-2. Not very easy to see where the mistakes would come from. Looks like we should have time for 2 more frames. 5.5 minutes on the match clock. Make life so much easier for yourself if you win the first of those 2.
He's just left himself a little awkward here. If he takes the right hand of the 2 yellows at the bottom, it's the one he's playing, so he's going to play the left-hand one. I was going to make the point, the left-hand one is not a good ball to get to the middle of the table. It was going to be harder to get much higher than he has now. He's played a really good shot there.
He knew that if he cannoned that red fairly full, he was going to leave himself a choice of shots. He can pot the one to the middle, but doesn't really want to have to do that because he'd cannon the other ball, so played it like this. Knows he can just drop these 2 balls in without the need for a cannon. He's going to play one fiddly shot here. It's got quite a lot of angle, but that's okay. He can take the cue ball across the table for the 8 ball.
No, just showed too much of the... Oh, wow. He cannot believe that dropped. I cannot believe that dropped.
Yeah, we were saying the table's been recovered and the pockets are likely to be a bit generous. We haven't actually necessarily seen too much of that so far, but that ball looked like he's missed all day long. I think when he hit it, he definitely thought he'd missed it.
Didn't hit that one quite as well as he hit the previous one. Still's worked out for him. He's made a ball.
Yeah, he's made a ball, and the yellow's not looking too bad. He's just got one near the left middle that's a bit awkward. The others all in pretty good spots, and he's straight into the difficult one. It's not worked out great, but he has promoted the ball he hit over the pocket. It's just got a slightly delicate next shot. So he can just clip this one in. Should be able to control the white just about.
Played that a lot firmer than I thought he would. It's worked out well. He's got a nice angle to get himself up the middle of the table here, which is absolutely ideal. Put himself in the middle of the 3 yellows. Wide margin of error then.
Yeah, that's what you want to play for. Give yourself a choice of shots. And you can see from the fact he's sped up, these have just suddenly linked together really well.
Yeah, I don't think he could slow down enough to kind of guarantee or have a good chance for the 6 red. So he wants to speed up to make sure that he's got every chance maybe to get the next frame with a reverse clearance or maybe even a counter clearance. That's not the best. I actually think he went the wrong way about the final 3. Yeah, and it's going to really cost him. I just think if he'd gone when he went top right to go centre to go top left, I think the left centre was always last ball for me. And if he'd gone top left first and just gone on off the cushion and landed straight in top right, he was out. Now it was a slightly delicate shot, but it was the one I think that would have made it easier. No, you could have gone any which way about those 3, but it's just the way he went meant he had an awkward angle to get onto the 8 ball.
He's going to be kicking himself though. That was a glorious chance to get it to 3 all. would have been Callum breaking in the decider, so no guarantee he'd have got a shot, but at least he'd have put himself in contention.
Still feel like Callum's going to have to come up one shot here, just simply because those two reds together are awkward. And what's there, 120? Yeah, and he's going to take it on now, and that's fine. That's a match winner. That's over now, because if he'd stuck on those, then he would have left enough time maybe to Phil have a chance of something. But now he's got 4 unmissable balls. He won't even worry about the one on the left-hand side, or he shouldn't. He's probably going to play it, but he doesn't need to.
Really the only way that he could lose the match if he does play it and miss.
Yeah, he is not going to miss it though. He was perfect on it. You just can't help but play your natural pattern, even though, I mean, that was the right shot to make the clearance, but the only way he could lose the frame.
Time really ticking down, although of course Phil has only got the 1 ball, so still can't afford to miss. He's got enough time that he only needs to pot this ball to the bottom right-hand corner. If he pots that, he'll have enough time to run the clock down. Doesn't have to get perfect position. Does have to play it though. Doesn't want a time foul, obviously.
Yeah, and Phil will come forward to shake hands. It's definitely been Callum Singleton's day. The only player to play 4 matches, and he's won all 4 matches.